Welcome back, Levelin Up Nation. This is your host, Brigham.
Find out what makes them tick, and they'll, pretty much do anything. It goes down to the golden rule of please and thank you. If they do something good for you, you thank them for it. If you want them to do something, you ask them, please. Just taking self-development or just sitting back and taking a breath and listening to other people has helped me resolve a lot of that stuff. Always, for entrepreneur, but it's like you need to be ready for it. Maybe you need some more training, knowledge, take some courses, business courses or something. But I just always go back to stories, good stories and bad stories, because the good and the bad, that's how you learn and stuff.
Welcome back, Levelin Up Nation. This is your host, Brigham Black. I'm so grateful to be here today. It is a wonderful opportunity to pay some homage to a wonderful friend of mine and a real life hero. He's someone that has been dedicating his life to the Navy and helping us stay safe here in America. And I'm so grateful for Jerry Warmkessel, because he is not just an amazing entrepreneur, an amazing example of what can happen when you put your energy in the right places, but he absolutely cares in an inordinate amount about people and about making sure that they're successful. And today we're going to really dive into his framework about how caring is so important. And it's the duty of caring is our topic today. And I'm so grateful to talk with you, Jerry. Welcome to the call, my friend.
Hey, welcome there, Brigham. Glad to be here.
Excellent.
Very excited.
Well, Jerry, let's start in here. I know when we were talking, you said your background is not just in military, but you've also taken that and become an entrepreneur, utilize your mindset, skill set, and tool set to be able to help lift and build and really care about a lot more people than just your own family. Let's start with, how did you come up with this idea of caring first and caring so much about other people?
I guess it rooted back to my upbringing with my parents. My mother, as mothers are, they care for everybody, and my mother is one that's cared for pretty much every person in my family. So definitely a caregiver, and I get a lot from her since she was a main person that raised me. As my father was military, so he was gone a lot there when I was a child. So she was my main person in my life. So I get a lot of my stuff from her to care for people, help them out, give them a hand.
Excellent. So I know that you said you spent 2 decades in the Navy. Can you talk to us about why that experience is helpful for you moving forward and how that has fed your why and what you do now?
I would say, going in as, right out of boot camp, junior guy, you latch on to somebody that seems to be going in the direction you want to go. They're successful, they get the job done, they're getting accolades, and you're like, I want to be like that guy. Like, so you make them your mentor. They might not know that, but if to you, that's your mentor. And that really is what helped me go through my career in the Navy and get promoted through the ranks. And then when I became more in the senior ranks, I passed that down as in I always took care of my folks. And they always say, if you take care of your people, they will take care of you.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I was instilled during my leadership training, coming up through the ranks, is always take care of your people and they'll take care of you. And that's what I did. I did the best I can. That's all you can do, and you help as many people as you can. And there, a lot of times I get people coming back later on, and they say, hey, thanks. I appreciate that. They either, and believe it or not, even if they wanted to get out of the Navy, I'm like, what can I do to help you? Yeah. So I can set them up for success when they get out. Maybe the Navy wasn't for them.
You take care of the people, and they'll take care of you. When you are focusing on your why as a business owner, and not just what you do, but why you do it, it sounds like taking care of other people has been something that has been a theme, not just for a short time, but the whole breadth of your career. Would you mind sharing with us how you've been able to connect so deeply with people and outcare your competition?
What has a lot to do, you hear, in the entrepreneurial world, your network is your net worth. Well, bring that around to your network. The more people you know, the more people you can reach out to if you need a problem, have a problem, need assistance, or you can help somebody because you know where to send that person to go. And that came right from the Navy, transitioned right into civilian life. I do it with my kids. If I don't know the answer, I say, hey, go check out over here, check this person here. Even the folks that are my coworkers, not everybody knows everything. I know a little more than them. They know a little more than me. And so, hey, this is where I learned it, or this is where I went. And it's the network. It's always a network. It has nothing to do with anything else but your relationships with people.
Wonderful. So when we talk about the duty of caring, a lot of times people get stuck on, well, it's my job as the leader to tell you what to do. But when you really care about someone, how does your leadership change in your experience?
It's funny that you say that because it's totally true. A lot of people think I'm in charge, I'm the boss, I'm going to tell you what to do, you're going to do it. And you'll get a lot of pushback with that. Mm-hmm. If you show you generally care about them, and I mean, you don't need to know everything personal about the person, their whole personal life and everything going on. But if you know a little bit about what they're going through and help them, then it's easier when you say, hey, can you go do this? Or, hey, it's your job to do this. They want to do it more because you're helping them. They show that you care for them. So they're like caring for you, I guess, as their boss or superior or supervisor. And that's where a lot of my success came in. Military is a hard life. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are like that. I'm the boss. You get that. I'm your. And if you just show a lot of care for people, I could walk in and say, "Hey, let's get cleaned up. Let's go." And they're like jumping, like, "All right, let's run." Like they didn't say, "Why me?" and things like that, Or it was just like because they knew I had their back and I cared for them. And so that transfers right in, in my whole. I do it in my whole life, all the time. It was implanted into me now.
I think it's really unique that in an organization that's so structured and rank-based that there's a difference between those who lead and those that are leaders. You have to choose to be able to understand other people and figure out what is it that they want, what are they wanting to accomplish. And as you help them want to follow you rather than just following you because you had a title or because you have a rank.
Exactly.
Very different amount of care that goes into that conversation.
It is. And believe it or not, when I was in the military, I didn't know about this after I got done. But you know Woody Woodward and the drive system.
Yeah.
So find out what makes them tick, and they'll pretty much do anything and set the example too. If you got to do that too. You just can't be out of standards and expect other people to be in standards too. So setting an example and caring for people, you can go very far.
I think that's great. You can either be an example or a warning is one of the ways my friend Greg Kimball says this. If you're an example, people will be like, I can do that too. But if you're a warning, they're like, I definitely don't want to do that.
Exactly.
And there's good and bad leadership,
yes.
whether they have a title or not.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go into this framework a little deeper. This idea of care is broken into 4 points. The first one is to connect. The second is to appreciate. The third is resolve. And the fourth is to equip. Let's talk about connection. How do you build connection and show that you care?
Usually what I do is just, have conversations, find out what they like, what they don't like, ask them if they can help them with anything. You never know what they're going through at that time. Maybe they just don't like to put it out there, but you made that connection. So they bring out a little bit. Maybe they're going through a divorce, whoever, whatever. Someone's in the hospital, very sick, a mother or father. So you show that care and then you help them like, hey, you need to go do that. Hey, I'll take care of this. You go ahead and head to the hospital. So they're like, wow, like this guy, it's not about, it's my job to do this. Like he'll do my job for this 30 minutes so I can take, an extra 30 minutes of lunch and go check out mom at the hospital or something. It's basic human stuff. Care about people, be human and everything. That's basically what it comes down to. The root.
That's wonderful. Caring about people. There's an expression that I think is in most languages. It's that idea of take care. Bao zhong is the expression in Mandarin. But when you actually take care of what other people are doing and how they leave you, it's not the same as saying goodbye. You're saying, hey, take care. I love you. They love you back.
Mhm.
I will see you again soon. It's interesting. I don't feel like all the time we have that opportunity to say take care in a way that allows other people to feel that connection. But when you really think about making a connection with someone, you may not be able to see them all the time, but every time you see them, if you actually cared about them and they care about you, there's a good feeling. There's a excitement.
hmm There's
So
people that I haven't talked to in years, and all of a sudden we'll connect, and it's like we never missed a beat.
yeah, and that's
It's
how
just we had
strong the
that deep
connection
connection.
is.
hmm
Now that
And
connection, oh, go ahead.
go ahead. I'm so go ahead.
I was saying that connection is not something that can be broken immediately. It can be strengthened, but kind
hmm
of like a coil that has all these tiny little wires. Every single time that you have one more interaction with that person, it forges a stronger connection.
hmm
And as you think about the way that you interact with other people, it's your systems of communication. It's how much you think about them. Like a very thoughtful gift is going to do a lot more than, hey, here's a text message on your birthday. How are you?
Believe
Very
it or
different.
not, I always try to send somebody a text message on their birthday,
Yeah.
and I have a huge Christmas card list. I still send the old-fashioned Christmas cards to all my old neighbors and things. Just hey, how's it going? This doing well. We're hanging out. And stuff. And maybe not talk to them, but like hey, I'm thinking about you. It's Christmas time. Hey, how you thinking doing? If I get one back, great. If I don't, I mean, hopefully they're still doing well and everything. But I have a huge Christmas list.
That's beautiful. That really leads into the idea of appreciation. I want to talk about this with the idea of the not just the golden rule, which is to do unto others as you would like to
Doing
have done unto you, but the
doing
platinum
you.
rule, which is to do unto others as they would like to have done unto themselves. I learned this first from my friend Woody Woodward, but I've now figuring it out. Oh, a lot of people have this idea,
hmm
but how do you treat other people the way they like to be treated and show them appreciation? I would love to hear your take on that.
It goes down to the golden rule of please and thank you. If they do something good for you, you thank them for it.
Mhm.
If you want them to do something, you ask them please. And even people that maybe you don't connect well with, for whatever reason, like the personalities, you just clash.
Yeah,
It's like, you really don't want to be around that person. You still be nice to them. You walk in the room, you see him, you say, hey Joe, how's it going? And he says, oh, doing well. How about you? Oh, doing great. That might be the only thing you said to that guy the whole hour, 2 hours you're in, whatever. But and you didn't sit next to him. You didn't, because you really don't really like him. But you know what? You're still were nice to him. You're still a human, and you still appreciate it. Because you never know. You might later on become a good connection.
for
It's just
sure.
at the time right now, it's just he might be going through something or whatever, and you're just bumping heads right now, but you never know.
It's funny. That just reminded me of the Benjamin Franklin effect. Have you ever heard of this, Jerry?
No, what is
Okay.
that?
This is something I learned first from Rob Sperry in one of his books. It's The Game of Networking. The idea is when you have someone that you kind of bump heads with and you don't do super well, maybe enemy is a hard word to say,
Yeah,
but
not an
someone that you just
enemy,
don't
but
jive with. He said one of the things that Benjamin Franklin did was he would go to those that were his opposition and he would ask them a favor. And he was very conscientious of this. How do I have them be appreciated for their expertise and their insight, their opinion, so that I can receive insight over agreement? Because they're not going to agree. They're not going to
right,
reach that
right.
agreement, but they can respect each other. They can find that zone of tolerance and acceptance and appreciate other people's views that are different from their own. That's something I think is really important. So when you're showing appreciation, it's not just are people hearing it? It's are they seeing it and do they know that you appreciate it? Like
hmm
what you said, Jerry, they say thank you. Did you recognize that what they said was helpful? And you actually send out a Christmas card to show appreciation of the friendship. I think it's a great connector. One of the other ideas here that I think is important when we're talking about taking care of other people, and not just in your business, but in your personal life, is to resolve the root cause of issues, not to just glaze over them. Don't just put a Band-Aid on it. Let's talk about some of the challenges you've experienced and how you've been able to resolve those over years. I'd love to hear a story about how you've been able to overcome one of those challenges.
Story I might not have, but maybe here's one. When I can't get something, not so much like get my way, but like I'm not understanding what you're saying, and there's that challenge there, or an issue comes up. I always look at the other person's view. I know we might call that the devil's advocate or something like that, but it's like, okay, how are they seeing it, and everything, so I can see how they're seeing it, and then, okay, is it my fault or is it them? And then let's work together and come out on a win-win situation. If I can understand how you're seeing it, then, or how it went down, then it helps me resolve any kind of that conflict. Because there's always three. There's your way, my way, or your truth, my truth, and then the real truth.
Yeah. Your perception, my perception, and what is actually happening there. That's so good. One of the things that popped up in my head as we're talking about resolving issues, I had a friend, Eileen Gallagher, on my podcast a couple months ago. She talked about how healthcare is not actually healthcare in America, it's sick care, because they focus on diagnosing the issue and only treating the issue, not always the root cause. I think if we look at relationships, we look at our business, we look at all the different moving parts of our life, our community, our personal life, our professional life, our vitality, all of these, it's a holistic approach. But if we don't actually go down to the root cause of whatever the issue is and resolve that, we don't take care of ourselves, the chances of us being able to take care of others is diminished. Let's go into our health for a second. In your health, if you are constantly coughing, you're not able to breathe well because you've got congestion, you're sick all the time, you've got itchy skin. When you are on stage as a performer or as a speaker, that will completely affect how the audience sees you and perceives you. If you're itching all the time, or if you are sneezing and you're blowing your nose, everyone will be able to see, oh, wow, that person is not in their peak health. I don't necessarily want to listen to what they say because their health is impacting the message. So in your experience with business, what are some of the basic root causes that cause issues to happen in between people?
First is knowledge. Everyone's on a different knowledge level. And of course, everyone thinks they know it all. So, they're, well, I know it all, or you know it all, but we're on different knowledge levels of what we have. And it could be on anything. And so if you understand that, yes, you are knowledgeable. You're not a dumb person or anything like that, but you don't know it all. We're always learning. You know that. We're always learning. If you are not learning something new every day, you're not going to go far in life, as far as I'm concerned. I'm always, whether I read a page in the book, watch a video on something, I know how to change the oil, but you get what I'm saying. Like even a quick video on how to change the oil on a car. You're learning something, and that's really what makes me go. I can sit still, but that mind has to be going for me. I always got to be learning something. I can sit and play a game or whatever, on your phone or whatever. That's takes your mind off of stuff. But just I got to be learning, and that's the root cause. Everyone, to me, for me, everyone thinks they know it all, or it has to be done their way. And if you can collaborate, it's gonna be a win for everybody. You just got to know how to pull everybody's strengths together and make it work.
So here's what I'm hearing. If you knew what they knew, everyone in your association with their skill set, you couldn't help but love them. you couldn't help but really tap into their skills and say, well, this is how much insight I want from you. I want to be able to understand your point of view. And you can take that information in, and with added information, you can have better inspiration on how to resolve those challenges. Is that what I'm hearing? Is that right?
Pretty much.
Excellent.
Pretty much.
Here's another idea. I think with active listening, this is just a basic skill in language learning that I've had for years. I started learning Mandarin in 2008. One of the main things is to make sure that when you hear a new word multiple times, you take notice of it. Some people don't actually write it down. You don't necessarily have to write it down, but the idea is you pay attention because that word has come up multiple times. Your reticular activating system, that little filter in your brain will say, oh, hey, that might be important because I've seen it not just once or twice or three times. I've heard it multiple times.
Yes.
What does that mean? As you seek out that knowledge, sometimes it's seeking out the right people. You are able to resolve challenges that you have because of your curiosity. Now, I'm curious, when you are doing your very best to resolve a challenge, and it's not like a one-day type of challenge. This is not a quick fix. This is something that will take a lot of time to reprogram or to change. Can you talk to us about an experience you've had dealing with a challenge that took maybe even years to resolve?
One challenge, I will say, like when we were talking before this yesterday, kind of like hard-headed. It sometimes it takes a while for me to learn something because it's just in my head a certain way, and just taking self-development or just sitting back and taking a breath and listening to other people has helped me resolve a lot of that stuff. Where it was tough, it was like kind of like not my way or the highway, but it was like what are you talking about? Like, I don't get it. And through a lot of reading and self-development, I've learned how to listen better to other folks, to receive that stuff, which then not only makes me a better person, but it helps like the whole team, as I would say. Now, rather than my way or this way, always pointing you back to my way, I learned how my way might not be the best way. Maybe a small part of it is, but in the overall picture, it's that way.
Excellent.
It took me a while. I mean, I would say a couple years to get over that. It's my way.
Yeah, my way or the highway, or that rigidity when you are facing an issue. Every single time we have something pop up, whether it's hard-headedness, I almost have a teenager now, so I'm bracing myself to figure out what do I need to do to make sure that I can combat that. Because I read this morning something that was fascinating, that literally because of all the changes in hormones, they're growing so fast. Teenagers lose about half the capacity of their brain, if I heard it correctly. And I was like, that makes a whole lot of sense until their brain's fully formed. And that's why they sometimes act a little crazy. So I am just doing my best to prep myself to be empathetic and to care.
Definitely. Dad, you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know anything.
Yeah, I will not know anything. And it probably won't happen for a few years that I'll know anything after, raising her for so long. So it'll be fun. That's a great, exciting challenge. Now let's talk about the idea of equipping. We talked about knowledge before. Knowledge is not the only thing you equip people with. You are equipped in so many different ways with tools, mindsets in the Navy, and you've been able to take a lot of that and put it into your real estate investing, that mindset and that drive and determination into that. Let's talk about how you equip people in business.
Well, if I always go back to how I learned it and use stories, actually, things that I've done in the past, or I've known people in the past that have taught me, mentored me. My parents as one, friends of mine that have owned businesses, and so I watch them, and so I try to use stories to try to equip people with that. Even my kids, they say,
Mhm.
"Oh, maybe I want to start a business." Okay, well, what do you want to do? And we have that discussion, and we go there. And it's not that I want to talk anybody out of it, always, for entrepreneur, but it's like you need to be ready for it. Maybe you need some more training, knowledge, take some courses, business courses or something. But I just always go back to stories,
Mm.
good stories and bad stories, because
Yeah.
the good and the bad, that's how you learn and stuff. People that have failed in the past, people that have been successful in the past, and give them those stories, and especially if they know them, then they know what I'm talking about. And they might not, because they're my kids, my stepchildren. They only see like the high level. They don't see the behind the scenes stuff that I might have seen. So I
Yeah.
could bring that out to them. And always, I'm here if you need me. I don't. I would tell them I do not know everything, but I can always point in the right direction. I
Mm.
can point you to somebody, point you to a book, a video, or I'll just look it up myself and give you the answer if I, so with that. It goes back to caring and helping people, being human.
Wonderful.
That
That's
root,
it.
the
Being
root
human.
thing that is basically what's wrong with the world today. Is just be human and help people and
Mm.
care about people. If we did that, we'd probably have a great world rather than all the stuff that's going on today in the world.
That's so good. And when you don't have the resources yet, know that they are out there and you can be resourceful.
Yes.
Being curious is one of the most wonderful skills you can develop. That
Yes.
curiosity. If you don't have access to those resources, go start at a library that's free.
Yes.
It's kind of free. You can still pay with it with taxes, but
And as
you
you know,
definitely
there
have
is no dumb
resources.
question.
Yeah,
The dumb question is the one you don't ask.
that's a great point. And you look around your associations, we always talk about 5 different ways that you can interact with people. There's 5 different bank accounts of life. I heard this from the final percent, but it's so important. The first one is time. This is Tempk. Time is that first bank account. We spend without knowing the balance.
Yes.
And if we're not investing our time wisely, equipping ourselves for the future and doing the things necessary to help us become our very best selves and improve our personal growth, we're often hindering ourselves in so many different ways. And as a speaker, if you are not equipping yourself to be prepared so that every contingency can be planned for, then there's a good chance that you won't be able to deliver your message the way that you want to, and it won't land with people.
Well,
That next one, yeah, go ahead.
time is one thing we never get back.
We never do.
You can have a house, not have a house, have money, not have money, have clothes, not have clothes, all that. But time you never get back. Once it's gone, you'll never have yesterday again.
Yeah. The only thing we can do is learn the magic word leverage. That's it. We can leverage other people's times. Eric Counts, one of my good friends, he talked about this. He said, if you don't want to be tied to your desk at a 9-to-5 job, you need to incentivize somebody else to willingly tie themselves or chain themselves to the desk.
Exactly. I know Eric very well.
Have
He's a
to.
good friend of mine too. Great guy.
He's
But
awesome.
yeah, if you don't want to be tied to a desk, tie somebody else to it.
Exactly. And they have to have the desire to do that because they want
Mhm.
that job and they're getting the compensation they deserve. Now, that next idea in Temp-K is energy. When we have the right energy and we're focusing it, a lot of times that's what breeds that motivation. Some things will diminish our energy, our vitality. If we are not exercising, we're not eating right, we're not getting enough water or sleep, energy levels go down. That impacts everything that you do.
Mhm.
You got the money aspect as well. When people think of currencies, they're like, oh, money, absolutely.
Exactly.
That bank account goes up and down just like your energy levels do. And then P for people, like Jerry, you're one of my favorite people in the world. So grateful to have you on the call today and so
Hey,
connecting.
same right back at you.
Oh, I
Great to be
appreciate that.
here.
And when you're thinking about connecting with people, tell me a little bit, Jerry, why is it that you love connecting with people the way you do?
I'm curious to know about you.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. Different backgrounds, different upbringings, different even religion.
Mm-hmm.
I how would I say it? I'm going to say it wrong probably, but I don't care what religion you are, but I'll sit down and talk to you about it.
Yeah.
You know, even politics. I don't care, red, blue, green. I don't care what color you are. Let's sit down and talk about it, because I'll learn about you.
For sure. And take an interest in them. This is something I
Exactly.
learned from Dale Carnegie. He said, if you really want to have friends and influence people, it's in his book, go and take an interest in them.
Mm-hmm.
You'll attract more friends in
Great
2
book.
months taking interest in somebody else than trying to be as interesting as possible for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key to showing that you care about other people, is actually taking an interest, not
Yes.
worrying about what is on your plate. Now, this last idea,
Not all about you. Me,
yeah,
me,
go
me,
ahead.
me,
It's
me.
right, exactly. It's not all about us, right?
I know you've heard the saying, when you die, no one's going to remember how much money you had, how many cars you had, or anything. They're going to remember how you treated them.
Mhm. Exactly. And how you made them feel.
Exactly. How you treat them, how you made them feel.
How you made them feel, how you actually took care of them. Now, this last thing that you brought up earlier in the call in Temp K is knowledge. Knowledge is so important. It is the way that you can almost have a catalyst to change in your life. If you have the right knowledge, you are able to tap into all those other resources, all those other currencies of life. You have the knowledge, you can connect with the people that you need to. You have the knowledge, you can increase your bank account of life, your bank account of energy, your bank account of everything. So my thing that I want to encourage all of you to do that are listening today is to continue to suck up that knowledge, connect with
Yes.
great people, just like Jerry. Find a way that you can learn something new every single day. This is one of my favorite questions. When was the last time you did something for the first time? Your experiences, that's a type of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
The way that you read books, and when you're reading great books, you can suck up the knowledge and experience of other people. That's a wonderful way to build that knowledge. Going to seminars, going to amazing leadership trainings, surrounding yourself with like-minded people. All of these things
Yes.
will increase your
All
knowledge.
that.
And of all of these bank accounts, that's the only one that when you spend it, it doesn't go down.
Correct.
So,
That is
Jerry,
100% correct.
what is one piece of knowledge in your career that you want to share with somebody today that has made all the difference?
The knowledge is back to the beginning thing of the podcast when it came on, is take care of your people. They'll take care of you. And that's not just work. That's family. That's friends. That's coworkers. That's everything. Yeah, the person might not know you hold the door open for them in the supermarket, but you never know. They might hold the door for you a week later when they see you or something. But it's just be human. Just be human and take care of people.
Wonderful.
Help them out.
Well, thank
Hold
you
them
so
good.
much. That is something that you've not just lived, you've been living it for decades, and it shows
Mhm.
how much you care, and you're a great
Thanks,
example.
Mom.
So yeah, thanks, Mom. I am
I'm
so
taking care of
grateful
her
for what
now,
you're doing,
so
right?
she's 83, so health is not the best, but
Yeah.
now I'm taking care of her. But that's
Cherish
all that
those
taught
moments,
me.
though.
Yes,
I
definitely.
lost my mom last year. She was 64,
Wow.
and I'd love to be able to take care of her longer, but
Yes, I remember you
life
saying
is
that.
ephemeral and fleeting, and it's a wonderful ride.
It is.
It's here one moment and gone the next. And
Mm-hmm.
just like a rose, those petals fall, and it's beautiful, and then it's tragic, but those fragrances are left on your hands by the people
Mm-hmm.
you serve. In Mandarin, there's that expression: when you take a rose and you pass it to someone else, the fragrance is left on the hand that shared it. I hope that today, guys, you can improve a little bit your desire to go and care more, to be a little bit better. I hope that we've inspired you at least a little bit to
Just
take
a little.
another step to taking better care of your audiences, to taking better care of yourself, and to take better care of the way that you love other people and love on them and give them opportunities to connect with you. So, Jerry, I love you, man. Love you more. I
Love
appreciate
you
you
too,
so much
brother. Thank
for
you. Appreciate you having me on. It was
all of
great.
this. It was an amazing conversation. Where can people find you online so that they can keep the conversation going and increase their opportunities to take care into their life.
Warmkessel isn't like a Jones or a Smith. So Jerry Warmkessel on Facebook. That's where you'll see me.
That's true. You're pretty easy to find. I don't know any
there,
other
there are a few
Warmkessels.
Warmkessels, but there's not a lot of us, like a Smith or a Jones.
Well, excellent. Well, go check out Jerry. He always posts really inspirational things on your Facebook, and I appreciate the wonderful stories that you shared and the wonderful person that you are. I am so grateful for you being on the podcast. And guys, keep leveling up your life and have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless.
Have a great one. Take care. Thanks, Brigham.